I think so my voice is clear now. Okay. So starting the topic maxima and minima. So first of all, I consider a function f of xy. Let this be a function whose maxima or minima I need to identify. Okay. I think so my voice is clear now. So to find the maxima and minima, what I need to basically find curly f by curly x. That will be the first step. Curly f by curly x, curly f by curly y. And then I need to equate this curly f by curly x equal to 0 and curly f by curly y is equal to 0. Okay, just give me one. Once everyone join, I will start the. Okay, so we'll be starting right now. So here what we are having, let us suppose we have a function f of xy, and for this function I need to find maxima and minima. Okay. So the very first step will be we need to find the value of curly f by curly x and the value of curly f by curly y. Second step, we need to find the curly f by curly x equal to 0 and curly f by curly y is equal to 0. When we are equating both the terms in this equations, so we'll be getting equation number 1 and equation number 2. The next step is we need to solve these two equations to find certain points. Okay, this is basically points. And these points are known as saddle points, or it can be written as stationary points. Both are the same thing. Okay. Now, the next step, that is step number 3, that we need to find the value of r is equal to curly 2f by curly x square, s that is curly 2f by curly x curly y, and t curly 2f by curly y square. That is the basically third step. This is the main step, step number 4. That means we need to evaluate rt minus of s square. Now, four scenarios will be there. Number 1, if rt minus of s square is positive but r is also positive, then the function has minima. Now second scenario, if rt minus of s square is positive but r is negative now, so the function has maxima. And C part, if rt minus of s square is negative, that means the function has no extreme values. Okay. And the last one, if rt minus of s square equal to 0, then further investigation is being required. Okay. So now moving towards the questions for this part. So basically these three terms also comes in 2 marks questions. What are the conditions for a function to have a maxima and minima? You need to write these all the 4 conditions over there. Okay. I think so my voice is now audible easily. Okay, so we have a question now. A rectangular box open at the top. Okay. So a rectangular box open at the top is to have a volume of 32 cubic feet. Find the dimension of the box requiring least material. Now here we are having least material, that means we need to find the minima, okay, for its construction. So we have a rectangular box which is open at the top. So for this one, first we consider the dimensions. Let x comma y and z be the length, breadth and height of the box, okay, and v, because we are concerned with the volume, so and v be the volume of the box, and least material, that means we have to work with the surface area. S be the surface area of the box. So these are the terms which are being required in the question. Now according to question, what is being given? They have given the volume is 32. That means V is equal to 32. Volume comes out to be length into breadth into height is equal to 32. Let it be equation number 1. And what is the second part? Surface area. Now let us suppose we have a box, okay, whose top is not there because open at the top. Okay, so that means the length into breadth will be only 1 times plus 2 times breadth into height plus 2 times height into length. One of the dimension, if let us suppose we have, this is a rectangular box, okay, so this top, I'll just take a different color. Now this top is being opened, okay, that means length into breadth, this is missing for the construction part, for the material part, okay, so that means x and y we need to remove it. So we'll take 1 times xy, rest of the box will be the same, 2 times breadth into height and height into length, okay. Now this equation number 2, this equation contains x, y as well as z, but what we have done, we have already studied that maxima and minima only deal with the second order derivative with respect to x or y, okay, no z part will be there. So what I do, I evaluate the value of z from equation number 1. So value of z will be what? 32 over xy, that will be equation number 3. So I substitute value of z in equation 2. So surface area will be x into y plus 2 times y into z, that is 32 over xy plus 2 into x into 32 over xy. So this x and x cancel, y and y cancelled out. So that means this surface area is equal to xy plus 64 over x plus 64 over y. Now this is my main equation, that is equation number 4. I need to find the surface area for this part and let it be equal to f of xy. Okay, so the very first step was to find curly f by curly x, that means curly s by curly x. So derivative of this part with respect to x will be y. For this one 64 as it is. Derivative of 1 upon x will be minus 1 upon x square plus 64 as it is. Derivative 1 upon y will be 0. So output will be y minus 64 over x square. Now curly f by curly y, that is basically curly s by curly y. So for the derivative of this one with respect to y will be x plus 64 into 1 upon x derivative will be 0 plus 64 derivative of 1 upon y will be minus 1 upon y square. So output will be x minus 64 over y square. So we have two equations. At the same point I am getting the value of r, that is curly 2f over curly x square. That means curly 2s over curly x square. Now derivative of this part, this value with respect to x again. So derivative of y will be, y with respect to x will be 0 minus 64. Now derivative of 1 upon x square. So if I take x raised to minus 2, derivative of this part will be minus 2 times x raised to power minus 3. That is minus 2 upon x cube. So it will be 64 to the 128 over x cube. S means curly 2f over curly x curly y. That means second order derivative of s with respect to x and y. So I can take derivative of this one with respect to y or derivative of this one with respect to x. It's your choice. So derivative of this part with respect to y will be 1 minus of 0. So the output will be 1. And t, that means curly 2f over curly y square. That means curly 2s over curly y square. So derivative of x will be 0 with respect to y, minus of 64 as it is, derivative of 1 upon y square, that means y raised to power minus 2. So derivative of y raised to minus 2 will be minus 2 times y raised to power minus 3, that is minus 2 upon y cube, minus 2 upon y cube. So it will be 64 to the 128 over y cube. So we have the values of r, s and t. Okay. Now I need to find saddle points. To find stationary points, or we can say saddle points, what we do, we equate curly s by curly x equal to 0 and curly s by curly y is equal to 0. Now what was the value of curly s by curly y? So y minus of 64 over x square is equal to 0 and x minus 64 over y square is equal to 0. These are the two values. Okay, now you need to solve these two values by any of the method. So what I do, y is equal to 64 over x square and substitute in this one. So this implies x minus 64 over x whole square is equal to 0. So it will be x minus 64 over 64 whole square into x is to power 4 is equal to 0. So one of the 64 cancel out, this and this cancel out, so we get x minus x is to power 4 over 64 equal to 0. I am taking x common. 1 minus of x cube over 64 is equal to 0. Okay, so that means either x is equal to 0 or 1 minus of x cube over 64 equal to 0. That means either x is equal to 0 or x cube by 64 is equal to 1, x cube is equal to 64, that means x will be equal to 4, or we can say x is equal to 0. Now when x is equal to 0, I have taken these. You can take any of this equation, either this or this, it's your choice. I am taking this one, or you can take this one also. Y0 64 over x square. Okay, so when this x is equal to 0, y is equal to 64 over x square. Now x equal to 0, that means length is 0. That is not possible. It is not possible. So that means I'll take x is equal to 4. So y is equal to 64 over 4 square, that is 16. So it will be 4. So therefore x is equal to 4, y is equal to 4. That is the saddle point. Therefore 4, 4 is the stationary or saddle point. Now the value of r. So r was 128 over x cube, 128 over x cube s was 1 and t was 128 upon y cube. So at 0.44 the value of r will be 128 over 4 cube. So it comes out to 128 by 64, that is 2. Now s is 1, t again 128 by 4 cube, that is 128 by 64, that is also 2. Okay, so here r is positive basically. So therefore RT minus of s square, that means 2 into 2 minus 1 square. So 4 minus 1, that is 3. It is also positive, as well as r is also positive. So that means therefore the given function f of xy has a minima at 0.44. So that means we have find the function that it has a minima at a 0.44. Now what we have to do next? We need to find the value of z also. So value of z was in the given equation, I think so it was 3. Yeah, 32 over xy. Z is equal to 32 over x into y, that is 32 over 4 into 4. That means it will be 4 ones are 4, 4 eights are 32, 4 ones are 4 twos are so 2. Therefore dimensions are x is equal to 2, y is equal to, sorry, x is equal to 4, y is equal to 4, and z is equal to 2. And they require surface area, so surface area was xy plus 2 times yz plus 2 times zx. So x is 4 and y is 4 plus 2 times y is 4, z is 2 plus 2 times z is 2, x is 4. So 4 4s are 16 plus 2 times 4 2s are 8 plus 2 times 4 2s are 8. So it will be 16 plus 16 plus 16. So that will be equal to 48. Okay, so if you want to find the write the units, square units, you can mention square units, and you can write anything else also. Okay, square units. So this was a basically question. Okay, I think so it is clear to everyone, and this was one of the important question from this topic. Coming to the next question, that is also an important question, that is show that the rectangular solid of maximum volume that can be inscribed in a given sphere is a cube. Okay, now coming to the statement, what is being required? Show that the rectangular solid, एक rectangular solid लिया मैंने, okay, has maximum volume, show करना है कि उसका maximum volume होगा, and that can be described in a given sphere. मतलब एक rectangular solid को एक sphere में मैंने क्या करना है, inscribe करना है और show करना है कि वो solid जो है rectangular कुछ और नहीं, that is a cube. That means I need to prove that length is equal to breadth is equal to height. ये मेरा टास्क होगा इस क्वेश्चन में कंप्लीट करना. ठीक है, सो सॉल्यूशन स्टार्ट करते हैं. लेट x, y and z be the length, breadth and height of the rectangular सॉलिड। मैक्सिमम वॉल्यूम की बात कर रहे हैं, लेट कैपिटल V बी द वॉल्यूम एंड, और किसी चीज के बारे में बात कर रहे हैं दैट कैन बी इंस्क्राइब्ड, दैट मीन्स दैट्स इट, वॉल्यूम ऑफ द स्फीयर, वॉल्यूम ऑफ द सॉलिड। अब स्फीयर के बारे में बात करें, स्फीयर में बात करूं तो स्फीयर में देयर विल बी अ रेडियस एंड देयर विल बी अ डायमीटर। ओके, तो हम यहाँ पे बात करते हैं एक स्फीयर अगर जो मैं कंसिडर कर रहा हूँ, तो इस स्फीयर के अंदर अगर जो मैं क्यूबॉइड को या क्यूब को या रेक्टेंगल को फिट करता हूँ, तो ये चीज़ डायमीटर होगी। And basically when we have a three-dimensional figure, so that is known as diameter, and that is the diagonal of this one, and its value will be length square plus breadth square plus height square and root of it. So I'll take d square. So d square is equal to x square plus y square plus z square. Okay. Now, first of all, we need to find the value of volume. Volume is equal to length into breadth into height. Let it be equation number 1. And diameter is equal to diagonal of solid, rectangular solid, and that will be equal to what? That will be equal to x square plus y square plus z square and root of it. Okay, so what I'm doing, I'm just taking d square is equal to x square plus y square plus z square. Since we know that when we are finding the volume, maximum and minima, we only require two variable system. Here we have three variable system z, so I'll be calculating the value of z from this part. So z square will be d square minus of x square minus of y square, or we can say z equal to, okay, I'm not using the root part, that will make it quite typical. So equation 1 can also be written as v square is equal to x square, y square and z square. Now I'm substituting the value of z square over here. So v square is equal to x square y square into d square minus of x square minus of y square. Let it be equation number, this will be equation number 2, and this is your equation number 3. I hope till this step it is clear to everyone. Yes, you can do it by Lagrange's method, but that will be quite typical for Lagrange's method, because in Lagrange's method we need two functions. Here we have a simple one, so we can do it by this one also, but it's your choice. Okay, now coming to the question, that is equal to our function f of xy. Now very first step, we need to find curly f by curly x. That means, so I need to find the value of derivative of this part with respect to x. So what I do, I first of all expand this value of v square, that will be d square x square y square minus of x4 y square minus of x square y raised to power 4. Okay, so curly f by curly x, that will be equal to 2 times dxy square minus of 4x cube y square minus 2x y raised to power 4. Now curly f by curly y, so 2d square x square y minus of 2x raised to power 4 and y minus 4 times x square y cube. So these are the two values of this part. So if I take common 2x y square, I can take common, it will be d minus of 2x square minus of 2y square. Okay, no, 1y square, 2 is common, and from this one if I take 2x square y common, so it will be again, it will be d, not d square, it will be d square, d square minus of x square minus of 2y square. So these are the two values. Okay, I need to solve these two values. Now r is basically second order derivative curly 2f over curly x square. So for this part, second order derivative with respect to x, so 2 d square derivative of x will be 1, so y square minus 4 3 is a 12, x square y square minus 2y raised to power 4. S is basically curly 2f over curly x and curly y. That means derivative of this part with respect to y. So 2 d square x as it is, y square will be 2y minus of 4x cube y square will be 2y minus 2x into 4y cube. So it is 4 d square xy minus 8 x cube y minus of 8xy cube. Okay, now coming to the term t, that will be curly 2f over curly y square. So derive this part with respect to y. So 2 d square x square y will be 1 minus of 2x is to power 4 derivative of y will be 1 minus 4 3 is a 12 x square y square. So I have the value of r, this is the value of s, and this is the value of t. Okay, I need to find now stationary points. To find stationary points, or I can say saddle points. So I need to equate these two equations, this one and this one. Okay, so curly f by curly x equal to 0 and curly f by curly y is equal to 0. That means 2xy square 2xy square bracket d square minus of 2x square minus y square 2x square minus of y square is equal to 0, and 2x square y into d square minus of x square minus 2y square is equal to 0. These are the two equations. Okay, so from this one I can say x square 2x square y square equal to 0, or this part equal to 0. That means first of all x y square is equal to 0, or d square minus 2x square minus y square is equal to 0. Again from the same step, x square y equal to 0, or we can say d square minus of x square minus 2 y square equal to 0. I need to solve these two terms because these two terms state that x is equal to 0, y equal to 0. Okay, now I make subtraction, minus, positive and positive. If I cancel out, so d square will be cancelled out. I'll name it equation number star 1 and star 2. So star 1 minus of star 2, that means d square minus 2x square minus of y square equal to 0, and d square minus of x square minus 2y square is equal to 0, minus positive and positive, so these two cancel out, minus 2x square plus x square, so it will be minus of x square. Now 2y square minus of y square, so it will be plus y square is equal to 0. So that means x square is equal to y square, or we can say x is equal to y. We don't take the negative sign because when we take negative sign, it is not possible that length and breadth can be negative. Okay, so when x is equal to y, that means both the values I need to substitute in this star 1 and star 2. That means star 1 reduces to d square minus 2x square minus of x square is equal to 0, d square minus of 3x square is equal to 0, or d square is equal to 3x square, or we can say x square is equal to d square by 3, and x is equal to d by root 3. So that means x is equal to d by root 3. Similarly, y is equal to d by root 3. So we have the value of x, y. Now what will the value of z? That we also check it. Z was d square minus x square minus y square. So z square is equal to d square minus of x square, that means d square by 3 minus of d square by 3. I am taking LCM. 3 will be the LCM. 3d square minus of d square minus of d square. So it will be d square by 3 and z square. So z is equal to d by root 3. That means I have proved that all the values of all the dimensions are equal. That means it is a cube. Now I need to check whether it is a maxima or minima, main point. Now r. So what was the value of r? 2d square y square. I'm writing it over here. So 2d square y square minus of 12 times x square y square minus of 2y raised to power 4. So 2 times d square. Now value of y will be d square by 3 minus 12. X square will be d square by 3, y square will be d square by 3 minus 2 times d4 by 9. So it will be 2d4 by 3 minus 12 times d4 by 9 minus 2 times d4 by 9. I'll take LCM respect to 9. 3 to the 6, 6d4 minus 12d4 minus of 12, 2d4. Okay, so that comes to be 6 minus 12 minus 6 minus 6 and minus 2 minus 8d4 by 9, which is negative. So r is negative first of all. Okay, now coming to the value of s was 4d square xy minus 8x cube y minus of 8xy cube, that is 4d square into x. X was d by root 3, y was d by root 3 minus 8 times d by root 3 whole square into d by root 3 whole cube minus 8 times d by root 3 into d by root 3 whole cube. So it will be 4 times d raised to 4 by root 3 into root 3, 3 minus 8 times d raised to 4 over root 3 cube into root 4, root 3 की power 4, that means 9 minus 8 d raised to 4 over root 3 into root 3 cube, that is again 9. So I'm taking LCM respect to 9. 4 3 is a 12 d4 minus of 8 d4 minus of 8 d4. 12 minus of 8 4, 4 minus of 8 minus 4 d4 by 9, that is also negative. Okay, now the value of t, that was the value of t was 2d square x square minus 2x raised to power 4 minus of 12 times x square y square. So 2d square x square was d square by 3 minus 2 times d4 by 9 minus 12 times d square by 3 into d square by 3. So it will be 2d4 by 3 minus 2d4 by 9 minus 12d4 by 9. I am taking LCM with respect to 9. So 6d4 minus 2d4 minus 12d4, and it counts to be minus 8d4 by 9, that is also negative. Therefore rt minus of s square, r was minus 8d4 by 9, d is minus 8d4 by 9 minus s minus 4d4 by 9 whole square. So negative and negative positive, so 8 8 is 64 d raised to power 8 by 81 minus 4 square 16 d raised to power 8 over 9 81. So it comes out to be, if I take LCM, 64 d raised to power 8 minus 16 d raised to power 8. So it comes out to be a positive value always. Okay, So that means I can say rt minus of s square is positive but r is negative. This leads to the function that f of xy has a minima at the respected value थी आपके पास d by root 3 d by root 3. Okay, hence the solid is a cube with dimension x is equal to d by root 3, y is equal to d by root 3 and z is equal to d by root 3. Hence proved. Okay, इसके साथ कहीं क्वेश्चन अगर जो आपने प्रैक्टिस करना है, यू कैन प्रैक्टिस द क्वेश्चन and the question will be prove that a rectangular parallelepiped with same volume, the cube has least सरफेस. मतलब मुझे यहाँ पे फिर प्रूव करना है कि मेरे पास जो पैरेललोपिपेड ले रहा हूँ जिसकी डिमेंशंस एक्स वाई जी हैं वो कुछ और नहीं है, उसके अंदर सारी डिमेंशंस क्या है, एक्स इज इक्वल टू वाई इज इक्वल टू जी है, दैट मीन्स वो एक क्यूब है और उसके पास लीस्ट सरफेस दैट इज मिनिमा. सेम क्वेश्चन सेम कैटेगरी, एवरीथिंग विल बी द सेम पार्ट. ठीक है, यहाँ पे बस डिफरेंस क्या आएगा, यहाँ पे एक तो वॉल्यूम आपके पास what we were doing, we were taking volume v is equal to xyz और सेकेंडली जो मेरे पास सरफेस एरिया होगा दैट विल बी एक्स वाई प्लस वाई जी प्लस जी एक्स. तो मैंने यहाँ से z की वैल्यू निकाल देनी है v ओवर एक्स वाई, वो मैंने यहाँ पे पुट कर देनी है एक्स वाई प्लस वाई इंटू वी ओवर एक्स वाई प्लस x इंटू वी ओवर एक्स वाई. दिस x and cancel, y and y cancel, so statement will be एक्स वाई प्लस वी ओवर एक्स प्लस वी ओवर वाई. तो ये रहेगा यहाँ पे क्वेश्चन, ये आपका फंक्शन रहेगा. Rest of the question will be the same. Okay, I think so the maxima and minima is complete. Now coming to the Lagrange's part, मैं एक Lagrange's का क्वेश्चन भी करवा देता हूँ. As per the students are telling, asking to solve the Lagrange's question. So question is find the minimum value of x square plus y square plus z square given that एक्स वाई जी इज इक्वल टू ए क्यूब. अब यहाँ पे दो चीज़ें हैं, एक तो ये पार्ट है और एक ये पार्ट है. अब आपने चेक करना है कि मेरे पास किसके बारे में बात की हुई है. उसने बात की फाइंड मिनिमम वैल्यू किसकी, इसकी. दैट मीन्स दिस विल योर मेन फंक्शन. ओके, एंड दिस इज योर हेल्पिंग फंक्शन. ओके, सो यहाँ पे हम कंसिडर करते हैं, लेट एफ ऑफ एक्स वाई जी इक्वल टू एक्स स्क्वायर प्लस वाई स्क्वायर प्लस जी स्क्वायर and g of xyz is equal to xyz minus of a cube, okay, is equal to 0. Therefore Lagrange's function that is always equal to the main function plus lambda times helping function. Main function was, this is basically capital F of xyz and this will be x square plus y square plus z square plus lambda times x y z minus of a cube. Okay, so let it be equation number, this will be your equation 1, this is your equation number 2 and this is your equation number 3. Now for stationary values, stationary points, we always put df is equal to 0. That means curly f by curly x is equal to 0, curly f by curly y is equal to 0, and curly f by curly z is equal to 0. These are the functions. Okay, see, we'll be, after doing this one, we'll be doing one of the question for work done. Now, curly f by curly x. So derivative of this part with respect to x. So x square will be 2x, y square will be 0, z square will be 0, plus lambda times xyz, so it will be yz. Okay, is equal to 0. Now curly f by curly y, that means 2y plus 0 plus lambda times xc is equal to 0, and the third one will be z square will be 2z plus lambda times xy is equal to 0. So 2x plus lambda yz equal to 0, 2y plus lambda xz equal to 0, and 2z plus lambda times xy is equal to 0. These are the three equations. I need to solve these equations. Now if I check here in this one, lambda part is missing the terms x. If I check this one, lambda terms is missing this value of y, and that one is missing the value of z. So I multiply this equation by x, so it will be 2x square plus lambda xyz equal to 0. Multiplying this one with respect to y, 2y square plus lambda xyz equal to 0. And the third one, सर जो डिमेंशंस वाले क्वेश्चंस हैं उसको लैग्रेंजियस मेथड से सॉल्व कर दे तो मार्क्स नहीं कटेंगे. नो मार्क्स विल बी डिडक्टेड if you are doing the correct steps. No marks deduction will be there. 2z square plus lambda xyz equal to 0. Now if I add all these three equations, so it will be 2 times x square plus y square plus z square plus 3 times lambda xyz is equal to 0. Now this is your main functions. Okay, so it will be 2 times, and what was the name we have kept? F. So 2f plus 3 times lambda and xyz. xyz was xyz minus a cube equal to 0. That means xyz is equal to a. 3 lambda a is equal to a cube, sorry. So that means lambda will be equal to 3 lambda a cube will be equal to 2f, or we can say lambda will be equal to 2f over 3 times a cube. Okay, so the value of x will be what? हमने x की वैल्यू यहाँ पे निकाली थी, यहाँ से, तो हम यहाँ पे निकालेंगे 2x plus lambda yz plus lambda times yz equal to 0. So 2x plus 2f over 3a cube into yz equal to 0. तो यहाँ से आपके पास 2x is equal to minus 2f yz over 3a cube, or we can say x is equal to minus 2 cancel हो गया, f times yz over 3a cube. ठीक है, सिमिलरली हम y की वैल्यू निकालेंगे. y की वैल्यू आ जाएगी माइनस ऑफ लैम्डा, भी हमारे पास माइनस में आएगा, so it will be minus, so it will be positive, positive and positive, क्योंकि dimensions are positive होनी चाहिए. So f times it will be xc over 3a cube and z equal to f times xy over 3a cube. ठीक है, तो ये वैल्यू सारी की सारी उठा के मैं सब्स्टिट्यूट कर दूंगा गिवन फंक्शन के अंदर. तो गिवन जो फंक्शन था दैट वाज एक्स वाई जी इज इक्वल टू ए क्यूब. एक्स की वैल्यू होगी एफ वाई जी ओवर 3a क्यूब मल्टीप्लाई बाय एफ टाइम्स xz over 3a cube multiplied by f times xy over 3a cube is equal to a cube. तो ये आ गया f cube into x square y square z square is equal to 3 3 is 9 9 3 is 27 a raised to 3 3 6 3 9 and 3 12. Okay, so if I take the root of this part, so it can be written as x cube y cube x square y square z square, that is also a raised to 6. A raised to 6 is equal to 27 a part, so that means f cube is equal to 27 a square. Okay, or we can say f will be equal to, if I take the value of 6, this means f will be equal to 3a square. This is the value of your f. Now to find the extreme values, because it is a second order category question, so I need to find the extreme values. For extreme values, d to f will be equal to f of xx dx square plus f of xy dy whole square plus f of xy dx into dy, then f of yy into dy whole square plus f of zz into dz whole square plus यहाँ पे f of x is 2 आएगा plus 2 times f of yz into dy and dz plus 2 times f of zx into dz into dx. तो वैल्यूज पुट करेंगे f of xx की वैल्यू, अगर जो फंक्शन की वैल्यू यहाँ पे हमने निकाली थी कर्ली एफ बाई कर्ली एक्स, यस, तो ये था कर्ली एफ बाई कर्ली एक्स, इसका डेरिवेटिव करेंगे विद रिस्पेक्ट टू एक्स तो अकेला 2 आएगा, इसका डेरिवेटिव करूँगा विद रिस्पेक्ट टू वाई तो आएगा 2, इसका डेरिवेटिव करूँगा रिस्पेक्ट टू जी तो रिजल्ट आएगा 2. सो दैट मीन्स द वैल्यूज आर 2 डी एक्स स्क्र प्लस, इसको उठाता हूँ इसको उठा रहा हूँ, 2 टाइम्स डी वाई स्क्र प्लस 2 टाइम्स डी जी स्क्र प्लस बाकी वैल्यूज में डायरेक्ट पुट कर रहा हूँ 2 टाइम्स लैम्डा जी इंटू डी एक्स डी वाई प्लस एक्स टाइम्स डी वाई डी जी प्लस वाई टाइम्स डी जी एंड डी एक्स, ये वैल्यूज मैंने वहाँ से सॉल्व की हुई है. ओके, अब ये सारी की सारी जो वैल्यूज हैं दे आर ऑलवेज पॉजिटिव, तो ये टर्म सारी पॉजिटिव ही रहेंगी. सो दैट मीन्स d2f विल ऑलवेज बी ग्रेटर देन 0, पॉजिटिव रहेगा. जब पॉजिटिव रहेगा तो इसका मतलब मेरे पास लिख रहा है जी फंक्शन के पास क्या जाएगा, इट विल बी हैविंग अ मिनिमा इफ इट इज पॉजिटिव, इफ इट इज नेगेटिव देन इट विल बी हैविंग अ मैक्सिमा. ठीक है, और ये मैंने प्रूव करना था कि फंक्शन मिनिमा है और उसकी डिमेंशंस क्या थी, उसकी डिमेंशंस मैंने निकाल दी थी, फंक्शन की वैल्यू 3 टाइम्स ए स्क्वायर आ गई थी. दैट इज माय बेसिक कंडीशन कि फाइंड द मैक्सिमम वैल्यू निकालना था और मैक्सिमम वैल्यू मेरी आ चुकी है. सो दैट्स द क्वेश्चन फॉर दिस वन. देखने का है वर्क डन का क्वेश्चन करवाना है, मैं एक क्वेश्चन वर्क डन करवा देता हूँ. सर रिपीट द स्टेप. बेटा स्टेप में हमने क्या किया, बेसिकली डी एफ का फॉर्मूला है एफ ऑफ एक्स एक्स डी एक्स होल स्क्वायर एफ ऑफ वाई वाई डी वाई होल स्क्वायर एफ ऑफ जी जी डी जी होल स्क्वायर प्लस रेस्ट ऑफ द टर्म विल बी 2 टाइम्स, और यहाँ पे एक्स वाई है तो डी एक्स डी वाई, वाई जी ले रहा हूँ तो डी वाई डी जी, जी एक्स लेता हूँ डी जी डी एक्स. ठीक है, एफ ऑफ एक्स एक्स हम ऊपर से निकाला, y f ऑफ एक्स वाई भी निकालेंगे, सारी वैल्यूज इवेल्युएट करके यहाँ पे वैल्यूज पुट कर दूंगा मैं इन सब जगह पे, तो ये आउटपुट निकलता है। अब देखो यहाँ भी पॉजिटिव है, ये भी पॉजिटिव है, ये भी पॉजिटिव है, और ये सारी टर्म्स ऑलरेडी पॉजिटिव है, तो दैट मीन्स द होल फंक्शन इज पॉजिटिव। और जो फंक्शन पॉजिटिव आ गया, सेकंड ऑर्डर पॉजिटिव आ गया, दैट मीन्स इट विल बी हैविंग अ मिनिमा। सेकंड ऑर्डर डेरिवेटिव अगर जो नेगेटिव आ जाए, दैट मीन्स इट इज अ मैक्सिमा। ये मेरा काम था, ठीक है। नाउ वर्क डन क्वेश्चन जो कहा था आपने, मैं करवा रहा हूँ। बेसिकली वर्क डन होता क्या, दैट इज फोर्स इनटू व्हेनेवर वी अप्लाई सम फोर्स टू डिस्प्लेस इट थ्रू ए सर्टेन डिस्टेंस, दैट इज सेड टू बी अ वर्क डन, ठीक है। और वर्क डन का जो फॉर्मूला होगा, दैट विल बी इंटेग्रल फ्रॉम ए टू बी, ए से बी तक पॉइंट को डिस्चार्ज कर रहा हूँ, एफ डॉट डी आर, ठीक है। उसको डिस्प्लेसमेंट में जब भी मैंने उसको दिया तो एफ डॉट डी आर की रिजल्ट चलेगी। अब मैं क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे ले रहा हूँ जनरल सा। सो क्वेश्चन इज फाइंड द वर्क डन by the force F factor is equal to x I cap minus z j cap plus 2y k cap in the displacement along the path C consisting of the segments C1, C2, C3, where on C1 x varies from 0 to 1, y is equal to x and z is equal to 0. On C2 z is varying from 0 to 1 and x is equal to 1, y is equal to 1. On C3 x, now here signs are reversed, so x y is equal to z is equal to x, ये स्टेटमेंट है। मुझे वर्क डन निकालना है, फोर्स गिवन दे दी और मुझे दिया कि 3 कर्व्स में ये स्प्लिट कर रहा है, सो दैट मीन्स टोटल वर्क डन is equal to along the curve C f dot dr, that will be along C1 f dot dr plus along the curve C2 f dot dr plus along the curve C3 f dot dr। तीनों पार्ट्स को अलग अलग मुझे सॉल्व करना है, ओके। सो पहले तो बात करते हैं dx dy f dot dr की वैल्यू कितनी आएगी। नाउ वी नो दैट f dot dr, f की स्टेटमेंट में वैल्यू गिवन है x I cap minus z j cap plus 2y k cap dot dr, dr that means dx I cap plus dy j cap plus dz k cap। तो मेरे पास आ जाएगा x dx बिकॉज I dot I1 j dot j1 k dot k1 minus z dy plus 2y into dz, ठीक है। नाउ ऑन C1, C1 में मेरे पास क्या आएगा, C1 पे गिवन है कि मेरे पास y is equal to x है, y is equal to x, that means dy is equal to dx, एक पार्ट तो ये आ गया, ठीक है। और x जो वेरी कर रहा है वो 0 to 1 वेरी कर रहा है, x वेरिंग फ्रॉम 0 to 1, और z की वैल्यू 0 है, तो इसका मतलब dz की वैल्यू भी कितनी आ जाएगी, 0। सो along the curve C1 f dot dr1, that will be integral 0 to 1 x as it is dx as it is minus z तो 0 था तो 0 आ जाएगा, प्लस 2y into dz, dz भी 0 है, so it counts to be 0 to 1 x dx, so it will be x square by 2 within the limit 0 to 1, so it will be 1 by 2, ठीक है। ऑन C2, अब मेरे पास C2 में क्या गिवन है कि x इज इक्वल टू 1, y इज इक्वल टू 1, तो इसका मतलब हो जाएगा dx 0 एंड dy भी 0 आ गया, ठीक है। और जो z है वो वेरी कर रहा है 0 to 1। सो along the curve C2 f डॉट dr, दैट इज z की वैल्यू करिए 0 to 1, और फंक्शन है मेरे पास x की वैल्यू है 1, डॉट dx है 0, z की वैल्यू एज इट इज dy है 0, माइनस टू प्लस 2 टाइम्स y है 1, dz एज इट इज। तो ये आपके पास बन जाएगा 0 to 1, 1 into 0 0, minus 0 plus 2 times dz, so it counts to be 2 times integral of dz will be z within the limits 0 to 1, so 2 times 1 minus of 0, that will be 2. And on curve C3, we have given y is equal to z equal to x, that means dy is equal to dz is equal to dx, और वेरिएशन चल रही है x की 1 to 0, ठीक है, and x varies from 1 to 0. So along the curve C3, f dot dr, that is 1 to 0, x as it is, फंक्शन के अकॉर्डिंगली वैल्यूज पुट कर रहा हूँ, dx भी as it is, माइनस देन है z dy, z की वैल्यू भी y x है और dy की वैल्यू भी dx है, x dx, एंड द थर्ड पार्ट वाज 2x dx, सो ये दोनों कैंसिल हो गए, तो रिजल्ट आ गया 1 to 0 2x dx, 2 outside, x की इंटीग्रेशन x square by 2 within the limit 1 to 0, 2 and 2 cancel out, upper limit 0 minus limit minus 1, तो आउटपुट आ गया -1। तो टोटल वर्क डन कितना हो जाएगा, टोटल वर्क डन आ गया along the first part, कर्व फर्स्ट में उसकी वैल्यू कितनी थी, C1 के लॉन्ग वैल्यू थी 1/2, C2 के लॉन्ग 2 एंड -1, 1/2 plus 2 minus 1, 1/2 plus 1, that will be 3/2, ये आपका आंसर है। सो दैट्स अ क्वेश्चन ऑफ वर्क डन। इसके साथ के वर्क डन के आप कोई भी क्वेश्चन निकाल सकते हो, एफ डॉट डी आर बेसिकली इवैल्यूएट कर रहा है विद इन द गिवन इंटरवल्स, ओके। एनी अदर डाउट? So that's it for today. Take care. Goodbye.